What's up, guys? This is Marciea
and Brittany,
and we're here with another episode of the LadyStrong virtual workouts. And today we're going to talk to you ladies about how to avoid this number one mistake. So I'd like to get things started and kick off here. And as always, I always have my handy dandy notebook just to make sure that I don't leave anything out. And you guys are probably wondering, what mistake exactly are we referring to? And based on Brittany and I's observation during this time, the COVID-19, and we're going to the grocery store, we're noticing a common theme amongst everybody who's shopping at the grocery store and in their grocery cart. And it's really frustrating, and it makes me wonder if these people that we see that are making the mistakes, we wonder if you're doing the same thing. So we're gonna teach you and tell you how you could possibly avoid doing this same mistake. And that is, Brittany, you wanna tell them?
So what we've been noticing is that people are tending to buy a lot of the processed foods, which we can understand why, because if you want to avoid going back and forth to the grocery stores to avoid your exposure to other people, we can understand and sympathize with the fact that you would need to buy things that last a little bit longer. But if you are looking to maintain your health and fitness while you're at home, processed foods are not the way to go.
For sure. So let's talk about, if some of you don't really know what processed foods is, because I'll tell you right now, some of you may think that you're eating healthy, but actually you're not. And the most common thing that people think is actually healthy for you is like the frozen goods, like the quick microwavable meals, right? They're processed, it's full, high in sodium, right? And 9 times out of 10, if it isn't sodium, it's also substituted with something else, if it's saturated fats or carbohydrates, and it's always the complex carbs and never the simple. So we're gonna talk to you about some of the pros and cons that I wrote down that will help you make a better decision when grocery shopping the next time that you go, okay? And the con about I have a brain fart. I can edit it. The con about getting fresh goods over frozen or processed goods is that it doesn't last for a long time. It doesn't stay fresh long enough. But a way that you can avoid that is by prepping your meals. And for instance would be if you have like spinach or broccoli, it's probably better that you do it all at one time than to just keep it refrigerated for a substantial period of time, correct?
Yeah, and you can always freeze vegetables too, right? So if you're buying vegetables, like for example, I always think about my time like when I was a kid on a farm. A lot of my aunts would have gardens and they would like harvest stuff from their gardens, and then they would all get together on a weekend and they would like package corn and freeze it. They would package their vegetables and freeze them, and it's all fresh, but it's packaged and frozen so it can be kept and used later. So you can do that the same exact way with produce from the grocery store. You can pack it and freeze it in Ziploc bags and freezer bags, and you can use it at a later time to prep your meals.
For sure, that's a really good one. Another thing that people might say a con for buying fresh goods versus processed is that it tastes bland, or you don't know what to cook with the meals. And the pro to that is that you can use the recipe book that we provided within the LadyStrong Virtual Workouts membership site portal. There's I believe over 50 different recipes that we've included in there for you over a 6-week period of time, right? And then there's also, we've given the example in the previous episode that we did, is to use your Alexa or Google or something at home and improvise with the things that you have. So did you want to add to that?
Yeah, there's a really good website that I recommend to a lot of the nutrition clients that I work with on the Precision Nutrition program, and that's skinnytaste.com. So we have the recipe book on the platform. You can use your Alexa or Google, but you can also use Skinny Taste, SKINNYTASTE.com. And there are thousands of recipes on there that you could just put in beef and it will give you a ton of recipes for beef, or mixed vegetables, and it will give you a ton of recipes that you use mixed vegetables with. So this is a really great time. Listen, we're all at home, we're all cooking our own food.
I believe we've cooked more in the last couple weeks than we have in the last couple months.
Yeah, and we're using our Alexa to find recipes. We're just making things that we already knew how to make, but get creative. We have a recipe night at our house usually once a week where we have like a recipe that we make together. You guys could do that for your families at home too, but get creative and use the resources.
For sure. And last but not least, I have on here as a con that people maybe tend to go towards the processed versus the fresh goods is that it's too expensive. And the one thing I want to say to that is that I want you to think about it for a second, especially if you guys are maybe surfing the internet and purchasing items through Amazon. And I know me personally, I have a tendency to do that as well. And maybe think about it from a different perspective. Like, do I really need this, or can I really invest it in my health? And you have to consider that your health is your wealth.
Yeah. And I know Tiari has talked about this too on her Cooking with a Coach and her trainer tips, is that you choose to invest your money in what you want to invest in, and you should always be investing in your health, because it's really the only thing you have at this point in time is your health, and it's always should be the most important thing in your life, but now more than ever, your health and your family's health should be super important right now. And buying fresh produce is a really, really awesome way to do that, and fresh goods is a really great way to do that. And to go back to the fact that if you're not wanting to go out and go to the grocery store and expose yourself, I know our coach Lauren still orders from Whole Foods through Amazon. She gets all of her produce through Whole Foods through Amazon delivery. So you don't even have to go out of your house. You could have it directly delivered to your house.
For sure.
And I know that she has given rave reviews about Whole Foods through Amazon, and she loves it. She says her produce is always really great. She never has any issues. So there is always an alternative. So you have to look for the opportunities to be successful, and not the excuses not to be successful.
So be resourceful.
Yeah. Cool.
So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in of another episode of the LadyStrong Virtual Workouts. With that being said, we'll catch you on the other side. Take care.
Bye.